Hey interwebs, Joeypals here. As we know, the characters in the Pokemon universe are very compelling, almost all of them being complete with plenty of backstory or witty one-liners. The characters that usually stand out from the pack, of course, are the Gym Leaders. As such, today we'll be continuing my top 8 Gym Leaders of Blank series with Johto's turn. We are going to be counting down the top 8 Gym Leaders of Johto. I'm ranking these Gym Leaders on difficulty relative to their game and their original games, memorability, and personality, just like the Kanto Gym Leaders. If you don't agree with my order list, that's fine, as this is my own personal opinion. Please let me know what you think down in the comments. Also, a quick note on Janine. While she is a new gym leader this generation, she unfortunately resides in Kanto, so in good consciousness, I can't put her among the gym leaders that reside in Johto. Alright, with the intro out of the way, let's jump into the countdown. Number 8 belongs to Fekner. In a generation with really great gym leaders, it was hard to get a starting point. Fortunately, Fekner ended up being a great starting point after I looked at personality. From all the gym leaders, Fekner stands out as one of the bleakest due to his whole thing basically being trying to live up to his father's legacy, which, as we know, is a tale that we've heard far too often. Sure, it's endearing, but once you've heard it a few times, it's just plain sad. Fekner is nowhere near Brock in terms of difficulty, and that's all thanks to a little tunnel called Union Cave that you have access to before his gym, which is inhabited by both Geodude and Onyx. Pick up a rock, place it in front of Fekner's birds, and they won't know what to do. The difference between Fekner and Brock is that in Generation 1, you are screwed over depending on the game you played, and the starter you chose a good majority of time, leading to strong grinding sessions. As for Fekner, you have not one but 2 great options immediately, making things nice and easy for you. He's also the name I end up forgetting the most, and that's never a good thing. Fekner, time to fly away. Leave a real battling to the other 7. Number 7. Pryce. Next up on our list is a gym leader who I feel almost got shoehorned in due to simple geographical plot convenience. Centered in Mahogany Town, Pryce fits his area very well. He's a wise, mild-tempered, old man who knows exactly what he's doing on and off the battlefield. Besides that, there's not really much to Pryce. His gym battle is by far the least memorable from that generation, as I can only tell you off the top of my head that he carries Pilos fine, while the rest of his memory is a mystery to me without using Google. His gym design gets style points, but not much else. And his legacy? Well, unfortunately he doesn't have one. His gym battle itself isn't too hard if I'm recalling correctly from memory, as by that point you'll have a nearly fully trained team that should have some way of dealing with ice at this point, whether it be through using Scizor or just plowing through with your buffed up starter. Pryce isn't all that great, but at the same time he isn't unsufferable, thus why he takes my number 7 slot. For number 4, I'm going with Chuck. It was between Chuck and a certain female gym leader for the spot, and between the two I felt the female gym leader was slightly better. Chuck, in a nutshell, is a gym leader that ultimately got screwed over due to plot pacing and the rush of gyms during the time. Chuck is a gym leader that I can simply describe as underpowered for his station, yet overpowered if we're looking at sheer personality. Chuck has the strongest personality of all 4 of the male gym leaders, though considering this generation also has the likes of Whitney and Claire, that's not much to say. He's big and booming, focusing solely on strength training alongside his 2 Pokemon Poliwrath and Primeape. His gym is also a nice refresher from the previous gyms, having a nice simple strength puzzle inside while requiring you to do your own strength training by battling every trainer in bear before him. That's a nice touch of whimsy on his end, the fact that he wants you to think like he does. Otherwise, that's all there really is to Chuck. He's a weak battle for a 6th gym leader, and he's certainly quite memorable personality-wise. With a gym design I can't truly call classic, more than simple, Chuck takes my number 6 slot. Coming in at number 5, we have Jasmine. Jasmine almost gets here based on personality alone, as both her gym design and team leave very much to be desired, even though I will consider her like your Steelix. Jasmine very much reminds me of myself. A bit shy, but definitely not just a timid little rat that'll hide whenever anything happens. That being said, she is a bit one-sided because of this, but with everyone else in Johto, save Morty, being very eager and jumpy, Jasmine is a nice change in personality pace. Her little fetch quest, while tedious, also does show that she's a very caring individual, refusing to leave Ampharos in case it falls into an even worse state. The Ampharos and Jasmine have a very strong bond, something you really don't see with gym leaders, much less with Pokemon that aren't even used in the gym battle. Overall, I like Jasmine for what she tries to be, a caring, compassionate person who won't leave around when the chips are stacked against her. Now, if only her gym battle compensated. Number 4. Bugsy. Bugsy, alongside Will, are the two characters in Generation 2 that got people talking specifically about the looks of people in Pokemon. Are the guys supposed to look expressly male and the girls expressly female? I'd argue no, but it doesn't matter for Bugsy because, alongside Whitney and Morty, Bugsy is easily one of the more difficult battles in the game due to his cipher. For those who don't know, Bugsy has 3 Pokemon in Gold, Silver, and Crystal: Metapod, Kakuna, and Cipher. As you can imagine, the first 2 are pushovers, but his level 16 Cipher is where things really get heated if you're not prepared. This Cipher has access to the move Fury Cutter, which at the time had 10 power but was working off of Cipher's base 110 attack stats. For those who don't know, Fury Cutter is a move that doubles in power every time it lands an attack successfully. So, let's say Cipher used Fury Cutter for the last 3 turns and he haven't knocked it out yet. On the next turn, this Fury Cutter will have a base attack stat of 80, which becomes somewhat scary unless you have an Onix. After that, Fury Cutter's attack stat maxes out at 160, easily capable of knocking out anything that, again, isn't named Onix. This is where the Pokemon you used against Fekner come into play, because you're going to need them if you want to beat Bugsy without level grinding by an obscene amount. And those Pokemon? They might not even help you against the number 2 pick. But before we get to number 2, we gotta get through number 3. And at number 3, we have Morty. Morty is another one of those gym leaders that can beat you quite easily if you're not prepared, and is arguably much stronger as a gym leader than Chuck and Jasmine, as well as possibly Pryce. The ghost typing in Generation 2 got a massive boon in the form of a move desperately needed by the type, Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball opened up the door for Pokemon such as Gengar, who was already overused back in Generation 1 for Hypnosis shenanigans, to actually land a hit. And boy did they deliver, as 20 years and 6 generations later after it was introduced, Gengar is the only Pokemon who has remained and overused. This is mainly in part to it getting Shadow Ball in Generation 2, because otherwise it most likely would have fallen out. Anyway, back to Morty. Morty truly shines as a human outside of a gym, hanging around Using in hopes of tracking down the legendary Suicune that you'll have stuffed into a tiny little ball before this video is over if you haven't done so already. Got it? Okay, let's continue. He's cool and quiet, but not a douche about it, which is a really big positive about him. As a Twitch named Miss Cattykins can tell you, Morty's team is extremely difficult, especially due to his Gengar. What, you thought that point was random? Nah, gotta make points about potency here. Anyway, this Gengar not only has the powerful Shadow Ball, but it also has Hypnosis and Dream Eater. Add that to Gengar's fast speed, and even if you prepare, you can easily be in a land of hurt. So, with the 2 leading ladies left, let's see who takes Johto's crown as best gym leader. And number 2 is... da-da-da-dum! Whitney! Now, let's be straightforward for a minute. I didn't even want to put Whitney this high on the list. Hell, I want to put her right between Pryce and Chuck. But there is no denying the infamy of Whitney and her Miltank. I don't want to touch too much on her because if you've ever seen any Pokemon community, you've heard about Whitney and her Miltank. So, instead, here's a bunch of memes about Whitney's Miltank to show you the true terror of this thing. Enjoy! And finally, at number 1, we have Claire. Between Whitney and Claire, it's clear to see who the true queen of Johto is. Claire, the cousin of Champion Lance, specializes in dragon Pokemon. I can hear the ignorant Generation 1 player going, "Psh, dragons, we only have Dragon Rage." Well, good sir, pick up a damn copy of Gold, Silver, or Crystal, because dragons did not come to mess around Generation 2. In Generation 2, Dragon gained 3 moves: Twister, Dragon Breath, and Outrage. While Claire may have let Lance do all the Outrage work, Claire very happily took the potential paralyzed Dragon Breath, which in Generation 2 was as close to being dead without being dead as you could get. Her team consisted of 3 Dragonair and a Kingdra, all of which carried Dragon Breath. The goal of the team was simple: paralyze your Pokemon, then stomp them out with either Surf, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, or Hyper Beam if you decided to bring in the special wall. What I remember is when I was playing back in Generation 2, it wasn't Whitney who ever gave me trouble. Instead, it was Claire and her dragons, which had no weaknesses outside of Ice at the time. And god damn it! She used that advantage and capitalized by weakening your Pokemon to immobility when she had the chance. With that, between a Miltank you had options to beat and a team of dragons you truly didn't have options for, Claire takes my number 1 spot. And that's all for today's video. If you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to see more upcoming material. If you'd like to see my last video, where I did a low quality cover compilation of videos I did over on Twitter, click the box on the left. If you'd like to see my parody of Designer's Panda called Pika, click the box over on the right. And with that, we're done for the day. I love you guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Joeypals, signing out.